Sometimes we stumble into it. Sometimes we take steps to get right there. But to wow an audience like that, and I think we really need to recognize in ourselves that we have that ability. But the key is pursuing your passion. If you're not pursuing your passion, then you're pursuing something that maybe you shouldn't be pursuing. Of course, maybe you have to be in a particular job that you just need to be there to make an income. Maybe that's for a time that you must do that. We all got to do that. I've been in jobs where, boy, I don't want to be here. We've all been there at times. But I had to be there for a while, for the duration, until the next door opened up that I could really pursue my passion. So we don't always get to do what we like to do, but pursuing your passion. So a repertoire. So I've shown you books, I've shown you quotes, I've shown you videos, I've shown you, what else do we have? Different kinds of videos. SimpleTruths.com. Andrew, I'm the Guy Beal. Here's the Global Leadership Summit, August 9th through and 10, 2012. The Global Leadership Summit will reach 260 cities in 85 countries at over 200 sites, about 100,000 leaders from all over the world for $269, a simulcast with people like this. Condoleezza Rice. We all know who she is, former U.S. Secretary of State. Nationally acclaimed author Jim Collins. President and CEO of Harlem's Children's Zone, and on and on. 12 high caliber leaders. I attended 2 of these, one in 2004, one in 2006. The one in 2004 just changed my life. Absolutely set me on a track that I wouldn't be here today if I wouldn't have gone to that conference in 2004. Transformation. Transformation. So if you want to check that out, Willow Creek 2012, that'll take you there on the website. So what do you do? What's your repertoire? Do you have one? Are you going to get one? I think we need it. Because I'm going to go back to where we are. People need us. This world needs you and you and you and you and you and you and you in what you do. It's tough out there. And even doing a session like this is enough for me to fill me up again so that I can go back at it and face the challenges which are the biggest in my life I've ever had. Guess what? Life might not get easier as you get older. Guess what? Retirement might not be what you think it is. Guess what? Finances might not be what you think they want them to be. You want them to be. We've got 5 kids, 8 grandchildren, one due, the 8th due in January. Some great situations, some tough situations. My mother-in-law just passed away. I'll give you an example of what happened to me recently. Let's see if I can remember these. Friday night, my mother-in-law's in the hospital. Saturday, she passes away. Sunday, gosh, what happened Sunday? I don't remember. I'll have to get my notes out. Sunday, something happened. Monday, my son, on his first day on the job, driving home from work, was in a fender bender on I-83 down at Lemoyne. Tuesday, my other son has a mental health situation. He was put into the hospital. I don't know, that happened Sunday. Tuesday was the funeral service. Wednesday, nothing happened. How's that for life? Is that unusual? Well, maybe that's a little unusual. When my mother-in-law passed away, everybody was around her bedside. What an opportunity. It might sound strange to you. What an opportunity to be at somebody's passing and know that it's going to happen, because she was on a ventilator and she was not going to recover. She had lung cancer, and there was nothing they could possibly do. It was the end. And he said, well, the only thing we can do is she's going to continue to digress, We'll take her off the ventilator and we'll see what happens. This wasn't take her off the ventilator to kill her. This was take her off the ventilator and we're going to see where this goes. And it probably took an hour or two and she was gone. So her 3 kids around her and myself, to be there when somebody goes from here, crosses that spiritual threshold to the other place, that's an opportunity. I've had that one other time when my father passed away in 1989. We were all there and some amazing things happened that just change your life. Of course, I could say that's part of the repertoire. And it's a repertoire to learn things, whether they're funny things, whether they're serious things, and you need to balance it. It can't all be serious. It's got to be funny things. We're not going to look at Tim Gard. Tim Gard, go ahead and look at Tim Gard stuff. This guy's funny. Or anybody. It's like to go on YouTube and look up comedian. Well, you probably should qualify that. Clean comedian. There's a little clean comedy out there anymore, like when I was a kid. When I was a kid, Bill Cosby was coming out. Who else was there? There was Rich Little, the ventriloquist. There was dozens of others that were clean and stayed clean. Funny people. So it's out there. Find it. Transform yourself to success. Be a lifelong learner with a repertoire. So we've covered 2 profile points. The 3rd profile point is be a focal point of influence. Affect your atmosphere. Understand your ability to influence people and situations. Here's a good quote. A famous quote by Nicholas Dean Nagel. When I prepared to talk on You Are a Focal Point of Influence, I told Nick about it, and he sent me this message. He was in college at the time. He says, this is very cool for you. I agree the individual is a powerful influence on his or her surroundings. I've learned that the good indeed only comes into society one person at a time, and it is through their communication with others that the good is realized and interpreted. Really cool. Take care, Nick. Like, whoa, this is my kid? Like, this is my college kid? Like, wow, that's powerful. I took that email, copied it, and I'm using it to say he is exactly right. The individual is a powerful influence. And it comes affecting people one person at a time through communication. The good is realized and interpreted. Where does he get this? That's what I mean is creativity. He was interviewing down at ITT the other day, and he said in the interview process, won't go into the details, but he came up with this phrase, he wants to play for pay. Which means, I'm going to do what I like to do and get paid to do it. He started being beta tester. I want to play for pay. And he said some other things. Again, he's just creative. He's creative. So Nick says, one person affected me. All right, I created this picture that can help me through situations. Question mark. That's you. 4 quadrants, and figure you as a focal point, a focus, a filter. This is your past in this zone. This is your present in this zone. This is your future in that zone. And this is where you need to get rid of stuff. You need to filter it out. I need to filter it out. The negative thinking, the fearful thinking, whatever it is. The people you for whatever reason, you don't like them. Well, we got to figure out how maybe we don't need to like them, but we still better prepare to treat them right. You are a focal point. You are a filter. Now, when the things happen in your life, either from your past, whether they're positive or negative, you want to bring the positive stuff into your present. The things that happen to you good. You want to remember those. The things we learn, you bring them into your present, and the negative stuff maybe you can't forget them, but you want to discharge it. You want to get rid of it. And that will affect your future. How many times do we hang on to, oh man, I went through that situation and it was 50 years ago, but I still remember it and it still affects me today. I gotta let that go, whether it's whatever it is, whether it's I gotta forgive that person or I gotta whatever I gotta do with it, or I just gotta say, look, I'm not gonna let that bother me anymore. That was 50 years ago. How can it be that something can affect you? It can. So you purposely say, I'm putting that in the trash bin, and I'm going to take the positive thing, I'm going to put that in the good present bin, which is going to get transferred into my future because I want to disconnect all those negatives and carry the positive into the future. It's just a picture. But maybe it's a picture that we need to purposely focus on. Just like I said, you need to be aware of your body language. You need to be aware if you're tensed up. You need to be aware if your forehead's creased and you're concerned. You need to be aware because maybe in a situation you just need to relax and be quiet. Say, okay, get a grip. Don't be thinking about that negative thing. Thinking about the good things. Bring the good things in that are going to go into your future in pursuing your passions. You a focal point of influence. Let me give you a story. I was working at the Pennsylvania State System of Higher Education. Started there in the year 2000. For 2000 and 2001, we were in a small building on the north side of campus, which is up on Front Street. When you're in the north office building, you really didn't know all the people in the main building. You were kind of you were out there. You weren't rejected, but when you're not working with people every day, you don't get to know people. You don't get to be known, so to speak. Well, we got moved over to the main building in 2001. And the main building it's an interesting building. It's a 3-story building with an atrium. An atrium that goes right up to the roof, from the bottom floor up to the roof. And on each floor, there's 3 floors and there's glass on each wall. And around the upper, you can walk around the whole floor and see down through the atrium. So I'm on the 2nd floor, working on the 2nd floor. My office is over here. I come out. There's the atrium, glass wall. I can get down to the hall, whoever I need to see, wherever I need to go. And here's the open space and the glass. And we had a secretary came to our office in 2003. We needed a secretary, so they brought somebody down from upstairs, Dot. And after a while, Dot and I didn't know her. I only saw her around once in a while. And Dot and I got to know each other. And she said to me, I knew you before you knew me. I said, what are you talking about? Yeah, when you were going down the hall and we were up on the 3rd floor, her and her boss, she'd see me down there and she knew who I was. And at the time I had longer hair. I had this mullet I was growing. And her boss, she said, oh yeah, our boss had a nickname for you. He called you Beetle because you had a mullet. What that taught me was I am impacting people I don't even know and never even met, and I don't even know I'm doing it. So that tells me I better be paying attention to what I'm doing and how I'm doing it, because if I'm not doing it so well, then they're looking at me and they're seeing that, and I don't even know they're seeing that. But if I'm doing it well and they're looking at me and seeing that, that's a good thing. And that taught me also, it's not just Dot and her boss. The chancellor's up on the 3rd floor. He's the top man in the whole organization. The vice chancellors are up on the 3rd floor. So, and whoever else I'm working with on the 1st floor, maybe don't know, they can see me. That told me I have influence. And I need to capitalize on that. Not for my benefit, but realize that the good things I do in the job are going to impact this place and impact on other people, whether I see it or not. And that taught me you are a focal point of influence. We need to realize that. We need to act like that. We need to consider that. And we need to just do it, because we have that authority, that recognition. That's important. That's hugely important. Here's one. I like this. Influencing an atmosphere. I'll show you this and I'll tell you another story. I know it's a small screen. You can't see what's coming down the street, but I'll let this roll out. There's something coming down the street. It's getting closer. Kind of looking like a train, a plane. That was the fuselage to the plane that went down on the Hudson. Remember that? who ever saw a jet fuselage coming down the street in their hometown? Talk about influence, talk about impact. And I'll relate that to a story. When I used to work for the Office of Budget, we worked in what was called PennVest, which provided funding for water and wastewater treatments throughout the state. Our water was a mess until this program. You don't want to know what your water was like. But the governor headed up the board. And I was an auditor working in engineering. I was an auditor working with financial auditors, and we'd audit these water and wastewater projects for financial issues. And every 6 months or so, they'd have a board meeting. Well, for whatever reason, Ridge didn't show up on time. And we were in the Forum downtown in this room that seats a lot of people. And Ridge wasn't there, so somebody sits in his place. So they were conducting a board meeting where they talk about what jobs are going to get funded and that kind of a thing, and how much money they're loaning out. It was a loan program. Suddenly the back doors open. And without even looking around, all of a sudden there was a complete hush. And in walks Governor Tom Ridge and some people that he was with. He came in and went up to the board table and took his position. I don't remember, he said some things. What that taught me was that governor, and any governor, carries a mantle of authority. A literal, let me use a word, atmospherical mantle of authority because of his position. But the moment those doors opened and nobody